a stage combat or fight choreographer? Well, wrong one. A fight choreographer or stage combat actor, if you want, is someone who is brought in by the director to create the illusion of actual physical combat on stage, but so it doesn't endanger the actors. So it's not actual martial arts. It's structured so it in a way that you don't get hurt, but it looks real. What is the job like working as a fight director? Well, you work closely with the actors to coach them so that the fight scenes look real on stage, and obviously that's a long process. And as you said, as Maurice said, you have to have patience as a choreographer because obviously it's very stylized, so you have to make sure that it's, that they do it correctly over and over again consistently, and they concentrate more on acting and stagecraft than actual physical fighting or martial arts. As I said, it's more specialised and stylised, so there's no real need to actually do like MMA, for example. They work closely with the director, the choreographers, and the actors to work up the fight routines from scratch. So the director will say, "Here's how I want the fight to go," and then they will then take that with the actors and just run with it, basically. The fight directors can be called in several times during production, in different times, like to improve and polish the fight scenes. So they're not always there. They are there at the start. They create the scene, they go away, and then they can be called back in if something needs redoing, really. Yeah. Tweaking, exactly. Training techniques.
Stage combat training includes unarmed combat skills such as illusionary slaps, punches, kicks, throwing, and holding techniques. Slaps are pretty basic to do.
So for example,
are we going to get a demonstration?
So for example, which way you do it?
Which way?
That way. So basically, like that.
Not like that. That's example one.
But it works better if they slap you, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you can get about your personal peccadillos, Ross, on stage.
You can be slapped, but
it does, yeah.
Technique to do it.
But then there's
Just ask Laura wants to ask a question.
But then there's loads of different techniques, like the way Gus has been taught, he's been taught his nap
With the slap.
but where I got taught the nap was as
That's
James would
a
Yeah.
tap and then take it.
Yeah, there are different ways of doing it. That's just one example of how you do it. What's more important than the person who's doing the slapping?
The reaction.
The reaction.
If it
So
doesn't
can we
look
try that
real.
slap again with a better
Yeah,
reaction?
proper reaction,
So,
yeah.
well done, very convincing.
It's just like, yeah, it's an action reaction. But theatrical adaptations of various forms of fencing such as the rapier and dagger, small sword and broadsword, as well as the use of other weapons, notably the quarterstaff and knives. I did in year 10 at Shakespeare's Schools Festival, I think it was, in the courtyard. We did a Romeo and Juliet, and there was some knife combat in there as well, which was fun. Got stabbed twice.
That was your short dagger.
Yeah, but it wasn't like getting them at the side sort of thing, like, you know, with the old comedy like that. It was sort of like the knives went inside the handle, so you can get daggers and swords and stuff that can do that as well. So if it's going to be like right in front of the stage like that, it'll look more realistic that way. Like that.
And just to clarify for those who don't know, what's the difference between a rapier and a broadsword?
Rapier is basically it's for stabbing, and a broadsword is for slicing.
Okay.
A
Broadsword is
rapier is
kind of what you
fencing,
see. Yeah, rapier is fencing. Broadsword is kind of like Braveheart.
Medieval.
Yeah.
Get them as fast as you
You have to be relatively strong if you use a broadsword than you do a rapier.
Yeah, but what do you need more of if you're using a rapier?
Precision, skill. Like with the Zorro clip, it's like that was a rapier there.
Yeah.
It's very thin, but it's also
straight through your ribs.
More specialised skills such as professional wrestling and different styles of martial arts, because with some films or theatrical adaptations or such, they sometimes have to teach them like 1 or 2 years, a week's course in martial arts or fighting. Like with The Hobbit, they have to do several weeks worth of fighting with.
On the Three Musketeers film, the adaptation, I think the main character had 4 weeks to do loads of stage combat, like things with the sword. Then like the kind of little bit lower had only had like 2 weeks.
They did like a lot of stuff like that with the Hobbit and stuff. They used a lot of practice for that. However, stage combat can include any form of choreographed violence, and the options are limited only by safety concerns and the ability of the participants involved. As a note, most of these techniques are drawn from actual fighting techniques, but modified to be safer for actors. For example, although there are a number of ways of creating a safe illusion of a slap to the face, which is obviously something that could really be done in combat, none of these involve making actual contact with the victim's face. So
yeah, and
you're all safe unless you're Ross.
Yeah.
In which case you're living on the edge.
Like to sell close to the wind, but
Yeah.
let's push on.
You live on
Okay.
the edge.
A well-known practitioner or choreographer is Geoffrey Kent. He is an excellent stage combat teacher or choreographer. He teaches mainly classes now. He doesn't go into directly. He just mainly teaches people now. Yeah. He's currently the president of the Society of American Fight Directors and has worked as an instructor of stage combat in 3 countries and coast to coast within the United States. He's based in Denver, Colorado, and his current teaching positions include the National Theatre Conservatory. It's an MFA program associated with the Denver Center for Performing Arts and the University of Denver. He has very popular master classes, and they are the Western gun tricking, barroom swashbuckling. Sounds amazing. Gratuitous knife kills, which he all has VTs of these on YouTube, and we'll show them quickly. And like other ones are like one on one, so he basically is an all-rounded fight choreographer.
One on one.
Yeah,
Why did
three-way
you say
fight.
three-way?
Because that would be sexual, Ross.
Yes. If you really want to go that far, I'll go for it. Come on.
So yeah.
Where is internet? This is his swashbuckling class.
Sean Collins should say that.
So here, then you have got 3, 1, and 1 there. So that's an example of the swashbuckling one. There's a lot more workshops he does on there. Right. Okay. How do you get into fight choreography?
Well, most drama schools will give you basic training, basic hand-to-hand fencing. This does not allow you to become a fight choreographer, but places like Youngblood offer a range of courses. The BADC Standard Level 1 course is a fantastic grounding in the skills you will need most as an actor: safety, meaningful acting, learning and performing choreography in fight scenes with the following weapons: unarmed fighting, Renaissance rapier and dagger, and basic Georges and small sword.
So drama school, it's either built into the curriculum or you can take it as an option, but usually you do the first level of the stage
You do
qualification.
And you do it
And you
either
can choose which one you're going to present in. You can do a sword and dagger, rapier, or you can do a barroom brawl.
Smash balls. This is taken straight from Youngblood's website, and they operate out in London. They also offer a BADC intermediate level 2 course, so this is a step up after you do level 1.
Big weapons.
Bigger weapons, longer choreographed scenes, and it's apparently more fun really. All the same, Youngblood's hallmarks of quality, world-class teaching and learning, and great media at the end of the workshop. The weapons you go on to use are medieval broadswords, swords and shields, and quarterstaffs and eastern staff. Okay, the British Academy of Stage and Screen Combat. So it's sort of where you get accredited, really. Yes.
The British Academy of Stage.
Sorry, this is where you get accredited as a stage combat choreographer.
Yes, really. This is this is where they help you get certified, and they are the best place really for being taught by stage combat.
So like the Academy to Joe can have like stage 3, level 3 fighting on. Do they just teach for those 2 weeks?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
No, she would probably have been taught that, but they brought stage choreographer in. They just teach the actors. The actors can choose themselves to go on and
So
do
an actor doesn't actually need to have it for good enough.
No, but it's advised to if you're going for certain roles because they'll expect you to pick it up. If not, they'll expect you to pick it up quickly and know what you're actually doing. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of time wasted.
It's not about
Learning basic hand-to-hand combat. You need to at least you need to have that. Otherwise, what are you doing in the role? Okay.
Yes, get out.
Yeah. Back to James.
Thank you. The British Academy of Stage and String Combat was founded in 1993 with the aim of improving the standards of safety, quality and training of stage combat and promoting a unified code of practice with training, teaching and assessing of stage combat across the United Kingdom. They put this down basically so that there are certain guidelines that, because some choreographers would say, like Ross said, like a slap in the face, that's fine, but others would say that's a bit, because what happens if it was really hard, you could daze the actor, maybe badly hurt them, stuff like that. So they put down the basic line, the code of conduct basically. You have to follow it.
This is the where you go. Well, if you're British.
I know I didn't take Ross's comments entirely seriously about he just gets slapped on stage, but just imagine you're you're contracted in the West End for 10 shows a week for 6 months, and there's a stage slapping.
You get used to it. I used to get slapped every Tuesday and Thursday night.
Yeah,
for
that's once a
rehearsals.
week.
Twice a week. Every
Twice a week.
Yeah.
So
Calm
that's
down.
10 shows.
True.
But what
They've got
happens?
2
What
days
happens
to
if you
recover.
actually do suffer an injury? What happens then to that show?
Gone.
True.
You need it needs to be.
Yeah,
I'm
sit down.
asking Martin.
I'm already sitting down.
Sit back now.
No, what would happen to the show? What were the potential implications?
Okay, the show can have to stop.
Well, hopefully the understudy would go on, but you wouldn't be able to go on.
No.
Okay, what else?
Sewer.
You could sue the company.
Not if you agree to it though.
Well,
it's
it
only
doesn't,
they would do that as we said before.
because they've got no, as an employer, I've got no guarantee that you're not going to sue me. Okay.
And it's
So,
So can I sue Mark for getting me slapped on stage?
Well,
Well,
you
you could
could,
do
but
any
you'd have to sue him as an individual rather than a company because he's not a company.
Yeah, I know.
Okay? But if you got really, really injured, and I have heard of some really horrific things happening on stage where fight scenes have been choreographed way too quickly, such as a friend of mine at the Citizens Theatre in Glasgow actually chopped his finger off. It was a production of Miss Julie. He was meant to chop the head of this budgie canary. And
Real?
the light, no, it was a fake one. No, it was a good whack with like a meat cleaver, and he misdid it. And
On
the whole,
stage?
yeah, on stage in front of me. The whole thing was really badly thought out. So that's happened. A friend of mine was in a
How
punch-up
professional? Did they carry
scene.
on? Did they carry on?
Oh, he
going?
carries on.
Oh,
A friend of mine was in a punch-up scene. He was playing Hamlet, and there was a tussle, and he really did get a broken rib, and had to spend the next 2 weeks of the run acting with a broken rib. He didn't realise he had a broken rib. He just thought, I hurt, and I can't breathe very well. Okay. What were you going to say,
I was
Bertie?
going to say something about in Rush Hour 2. Don't know if you've seen that film with Jackie Chan. He is some work. He basically teaches himself how to screen. And in this film, he was doing a fighting scene, and he had to run and jump over someone and land behind him, and he did it and mislanded, broke his leg.
Yeah,
and he continued filming the film because with his broken leg, because he had to, otherwise.
And
he
they've got fake shoe sock over it.
Yeah.
It's really well done there.
it was good.
Laura.
One of my stage combat teachers in London was telling us that he was doing this medieval kind of showy thing, and he was getting kind of tortured, beat up, and the girl who was playing opposite him had never ever done it before, and was basically really crap at it. And what was it? She had to stab him, but he had the kind of retracting sword.
Yeah,
thing.
was it a blood?
No, I'm not sure, but he had a spongy kind of thing.
Yeah,
But she completely missed it and stabbed him, and then she had to pretend to castrate him, but full on went into Brisbane, and then she somehow broke his little finger.
This sounds like a total disaster. But
I know.
Sounds like a really good
And he
read.
actually played Deb. He was literally on the back of the stage for the next 10 minutes, on the floor.
Okay, Marisol, what comment?
In Bolshoi ballet, there was this one girl, and it wasn't a fight actually, but no, she broke her leg, and they put anaesthetic on it, and something to make it go numb, and then she had to carry on with the dance, and then she had to stop dance altogether because she was just completely shattered.
So off topic,
So, I know, but that's why health and safety
Yeah.
is so crucial when you come to
That's-
it gets even worse if you think about films.
But what?
Because how many times have films had to down tools and go way over budget because there's been an injury on set?
But like,
You just can't afford it as a producer.
how much harm would a slap just here on your face do?
You could miss, you could get someone's ear, you could perforate the eardrum, okay, you could lose a tooth.
Adrenaline as well would like
Yeah.
really.
There are all kinds of things that could happen. Anyway,
Yeah,
shall we carry on?
But just to close that, it's the health and safety concerns of the company, and usually they will be very strict on what you can and can't do, and that is then enforced by the fight director. So basically, no full-on face slaps that you had would be allowed, and if that wasn't, they probably can't. Anyway, back at the ranch. All the BASC teachers who get
Sorry.
they're very rigorously trained before they can become an actual teacher, and they're like not under surveillance, but they're constantly being watched to see that they are maintaining their standards of teaching, and they're teaching them correctly, and they're not being slipping basically. Yeah. And they're they're people who essentially been in the industry before for a long time, and then gone into choreography because that's what they want to do if they want to continue in the industry. Okay.
Since its formation, the BASC has established a reputation as an invigorating driving force behind stage combat in the United Kingdom, and is respected both nationally and internationally as a leading provider of professional level stage combat training. They also did Alexander, Troy, Stardust, Closer, and The Last Legion, like fighting scenes between that.
That's for film productions. That's what they've been encouraged to do.
In 1997, BASC's advanced certificate was recognised as a valid qualification for entry onto the Equity Fight Directors Training Scheme, and in 2001 the BASC was appointed by the Equity Council for their training and assessment of fight directors candidates applying to join the Equity Fight Directors Register.
So they finally got an actual qualification that was recognised by Equity, so you can put that on your profile.
Ross has got a quick question.
I was just thinking, you know, you were saying it takes like 2 weeks for an actor to get trained a little bit.
Well, it depends on
level.
Okay, imagine like Gladiator,
Yeah.
where they have a huge, big ass war. How long would that take to choreograph?
Basically,
Not
they would need actors who've already had basically level 2 and above training in stage combat. They wouldn't say just an actor and then
Yeah.
spend time training.
Yeah.
And let's also think about it.
To reduce
It's
the
a
money.
huge film fight
They
scene.
get extra.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, if a choreographer had a cast of 40, 50 dancers, what might the choreographer employ?
And this is
Extra.
Assistant choreographers, so there would be assistant fight combat teachers.
Yeah.
Okay?
And usually, they would be essentially they'd be shadowing what the teacher's doing, so it would just be with them two, and they split them off into different groups.
Okay, Laura?
Would they start be like really specialist stage combat people? So like they could potentially, with a little bit of guidance from the assistant choreographer, they could kind of do it themselves, doing like whatever or not.
Well, if you're being employed for a job and you're being employed to be in a fight combat scene, what's one of the things they're going to be looking for in the CV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And leading on to that is you need certification. So why would you want to be certified? It's easier to be hired, obviously, because directors know that you've done the course and you've been trained rigorously.
Sorry, don't look at me and then I won't put you off.
It makes it easier for producers and directors to cut to the chase. So instead of going over, the typical thing in the industry, so what have you done? What makes you a good blah blah blah? They can literally say, this is what we want done. How would you do it? And show us a bit of what you've choreographed. Blah blah blah. So they cut right through the football, in the sense, the formalities. It gives proof. It's another proof of who's been trained in stage combat and who hasn't. So it'd be all very well going around, so I've been trained in stage combat. Are you certified? No. And it means that people who do MMA, things like that, they could say, that's another reason they could say that they're trained in stage combat, when actually it's not it's not safe really to be trained just in MMA and then go into choreographing, because in MMA it's actual full on and there's no restraint or stylization with it. It's they need to have the know-how basically, and the certification comes with the BASSC. And yeah. Ta-da.
Is that it?
Aye.
Well done.
Any
That's very
questions?
thorough and comprehensive. Okay, do we have any questions for James or Gus?
On topic.
Yes, on topic, inappropriate language. Yes, Bertie.
But
So, going back to Jackie Chan,
aye.
Yes.
him being the choreographer of his own moves,
Yeah.
would the director pay him to direct him and the other cast of fighters,
Yeah, he is brought in by the director to choreograph.
even if he's an actor in the film?
Yes, even if he is because he's obviously when he's starting off early, he probably wasn't being cast.
Yeah.
He was just being cast, and then he was a fight director. But as he became a fight director, they would. It's cheaper for them in the sense that
Yeah,
if
that's
they're
what I thought, yeah.
they're
Instead of bringing someone else.
and
Yeah.
from the fact that he is he's one of the
Well, he's
best.
the best, yeah.
He's the best fight
Guinness
choreographer.
World Record.
Yeah, he's the best, and he has a very high pain threshold, I'd say, because as he broke his leg in Rush Hour 2 and he carried on doing it. I mean, he's one of the best actors in stage combat.
Alright, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
You think it was Douglas Fairbanks Jr.?
No.
Fine.
One of
Charlie
us wearing
Chaplin.
white gloves, the rest of us thingies.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Understand.
Thank you very much, that was really good.
Any more questions?